All right, we're going to talk about linear systems of equations. Okay, so here I've got two equations, y equals 3x minus 2 and 2x plus y equals 13. So we want to get both equations into y equals mx plus b in that kind of form. The first one's already in that form. The second one, we need to rearrange it, so if I subtract 2x on both sides of the equal sign, then we end up with this equation here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit y equals on my calculator, because we're going to do this the graphical method with the calculator. So I'm going to hit y equals, and if you hit y equals, then you get a screen that looks like this. Okay, there we go. There's no glare. Okay, so I hit y equals, and I'm going to type in each equation. So what are the equations? The first one is 3x minus 2 and I used this minus symbol right here next to the 6. And then the next other one is negative 2x. So if I'm doing negative 2, I have to hit this minus symbol underneath a 3. And 2x plus 13. Now to get x, all I have to do is push this button to the right of the alpha, and that will give me an x. Now you might notice this minus symbol that's really big comes from the minus symbol between the times and plus symbol, and this little tiny baby negative symbol comes from underneath the 3. And you're using that when you want it to be a negative value, and the big one you use when you want it to be subtraction. Okay, so I got both of my equations in there, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit second trace, arrow down to 5 for intersect, and then you're going to see the two lines, and then it's going to say first curve, and then it's got one of the equations. I hit enter. Now it says second curve, and it's got the other equation. I hit enter, and then it says guess. You don't worry about it, you just hit enter, and then it tells me the intersection is 3, 7. Okay. Now, some of the things that might happen that might mess you up is if you've got the grid all strange. Like this here is a 10 by 10, but to get a standard 10 by 10, you're going to hit the zoom, and then you hit 6, and that gets you the standard 10 by 10 window. Okay. So all of the steps I just mentioned are right here. So you may want to hit pause and copy this down. Okay, now that you've copied that down, you can go through all of these steps. Y equals second trace, arrow down to intersect, enter, 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 and then you get your answers. And then zoom 6 for the standard window. Okay, and then you should try these other ones and check your answer. So you do these all on the calculator. For some reason, I don't know if this is a misprint. This says 2x. I think that was a misprint. So, anyways, hit pause and check your answer as you put this in your calculator. Oh, and for questions, these questions here, I had to solve for y. So like this one here, 5x minus y equals 3. I rearranged it to get y equals 5x minus 3. And this one here, 2x plus 3y equals 9. We subtracted 2x on both sides, and then divided everything by 3. And then I used these two equations in the calculator. Okay. Hit pause if you want to check your answers. Okay, next. So, on these problems here, if you rearrange this bottom equation, we could subtract 4 on both sides, we get this here, and then if we divide both sides by 2, the second equation becomes y equals 2x minus a half. Now this equation is never equal to 2x minus 3. So basically these are parallel. They have the same slope, but they have different y-intercepts. So they will never intersect, there will never be a solution. Now on contrary, for question B, if I notice everything's divisible by 3 on the second equation, so I divide that and I get x plus y equals 5. Subtract x on both sides, I get this. And you're going to notice that the top equation and this bottom equation are exactly the same. So by rearranging, you find they're exactly the same. So the lines are on top of each other. There are infinite numbers of solutions. Now let's talk about how to do substitution. Okay, so I get y equals 3 plus x, and 2x minus 4y equals negative 16. What I'm going to do is here's the second equation. Okay, this is the second equation, and instead of writing y, I'm writing 3 plus x, because y is equal to 3 plus x. So because I'm substituting y with 3 plus x, that's why it's called substitution. Okay, so then I'm going to do distributive property with this minus 4, and I get negative 12 minus 4x. And now I can combine the like terms. So I can get, okay, so my 2x and negative 4x is going to give me negative 2x, right? And then this step here, I'm going to add 12 on both sides, so then I get negative 4, and then divide both sides by negative 2, and I'm going to get this. Once I have x, then I can plug that into my initial equation, and then 3 plus 2, and I'm going to get 5. You may want to hit pause if you want to check your answers. You should put your answer in coordinates, because a system of equation solution is always written as a coordinate. Okay. You may want to hit pause if you want to look at this some more. Okay, we've got two equations here. Same thing. I substituted y with x minus 3. I combined the like terms. 2x plus x gives me 3x. Added 3 on both sides to get this. Divided by 3, we get this. And then in the first equation, I plugged in 5 in place for x, and then we get my y value. Same thing here. I did substitution for this one here, but instead of substituting for y, I'm substituting for x, because x is equal to y minus 2. Okay, distributed property with the 4. 4y minus 3y is going to give me y. Add 4 on both sides, and then we get y. Okay. Next one. Okay, so we see that y is equal to negative 2x. So I'm going to take the second equation and replace y with negative 2x. Minus a negative, that's going to become plus 2x. 3x plus 2x is going to give me 5x. Divide both sides by 5, we get 2. And then I'm going to plug 2 in place here for x, and then we get our y value. Last one here, we know y is x plus 3. I'm going to substitute y in the first equation with x plus 3. Distributive property. There we go. Okay, hit pause if you need to check some more. Okay, elimination. So what we do with this type of equation is, this type of work is, I'm going to add the columns together. So 3x plus x is going to give me 4x, and 2y minus 2y, it's going to go away, and 7 plus 8 gives me 15. And then I divide both sides by 4, and we get 3.75. Then I can point 3.75 into one of the equations. Here I plugged it into the second equation. So the second equation was x minus 2y equals 8. So here we have 3 plus 0.75 plus 2y equals 8. Subtracted 3.75 on both sides. Divide both sides by negative 2. And then we've got our y value. We've got our x value, we got our y value. Okay. Here I add the columns together, the two x's cancel out, and I get negative y plus 3y gives me 2y, 8 plus 4 gives me 12, divide both sides by 2, we get 6. Okay. Plug 6 into the first equation, add 6 on both sides, divide by 2. There you go. Okay. Move this up. You may want to hit pause if you want to check your work. Okay, next page. Okay, add the columns. The two x's cancel out. Y plus 3y gives me 4y. 8 plus 0 gives me 8. Divide by 4 I get 2. Plug 2 in place of the first equation for y, and then subtract 2 on both sides, divide by 2, we're going to get x equals 3. You may want to hit pause. Okay, you may want to hit pause. Questions for A and B. Okay, and questions D and E. Now, for here, to do elimination, I needed to multiply each row by something. So here I multiplied the top row by 2, and here I multiplied the bottom row by 3. By doing that, that allows me to cancel out the y values. So multiplying the top by 2, we end up with 4x minus 6y equals 24, because I multiplied everything in the top row by 2. Here I multiplied everything in the bottom row by 3, and now I've got negative 6y and positive 6y. That cancels out. 4x plus 15x gives me 19. 24 plus 33 gives me 57. And now that I've got x equals 3, I plug that into either the top or the bottom equation. Here I plugged it into the top equation, and then I solved for y. Here, all I needed to do was multiply the top equation by 3, and that made it so we can cancel out the x. I hope this helps.